What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. We're live in Miami at the Global GoBundance Conference, and I've got a GoBundance member next to me, Carlos Amaya. He is a real estate investor. He is a community leader. He has an insane story, which we're going to dive into, and he also is the host of Hablemos de Real Estate, a Spanish-speaking real estate podcast. Carlos, welcome, brother.
Jamie, thank you for having me here. This is a dream come true. And yeah,
I love it.
You are a hero. You are my hero, one of my heroes. And I'm really humble and happy to be here. And thank you for the invitation.
No, man, this is incredible. I remember hearing your story. I remember chatting with you about, this whole idea of like, do I come into GoBundance? And you decided to, and I'm so glad you did, because I think it's a great decision.
As a matter of fact, yeah, you were one of the main reasons they came to GoBundance. So I did emerge.
Yeah.
You did a great webinar. And we connected. You're from New York.
Yeah.
And then when I was on the fence, you kind of make me the little push to jump through me to the fence.
Well, we were talking about comfort zone, right? We had to talk about another guy who is maybe going to come on your podcast that is uncomfortable with the Spanish, not sure about it. And you're like, man, you got to get uncomfortable. Same thing. It's getting around this group. Get yourself uncomfortable, right?
Definitely, and it has been transforming my life. And then I guess we'll talk about it a little later.
Yeah,
but it's just been like few months, but the growth and different aspects of my life has been like really big.
Amazing. Well, let's go back first. So
Sure.
Let's get your backstory, because you've had, you have your life, and then there's some parts of your life that are like, wow. I mean, you've gone through some stuff. So let's hear about it. Give me kind of the whatever 5, 6, 7 minute version of you.
Pretty fine. Okay, so I was born in Colombia. I was happily living my life, going to college, living in my mom's house, and my father not paying rent. And then my girlfriend at that time decided to come to LA, with her father to study English, and then she told me a couple of weeks later that she's going to stay here, that you're going to school and everything. So I just dropped everything and I came here chasing her. And that was in 1999. We got married. So we've been married for like 24 years.
Wow.
And then I started just making a living, just working in different aspects. I get into real estate in 2004. And then when the market crashed, I joined a real estate attorney law firm, small firm that he was forming. And I started working with him. I started doing radio shows in the New York radio stations. We did it for like 10 years. And then everything was doing great. And then I was diagnosed with cancer in 2012.
Yeah.
I did the whole cycles of chemotherapy. And then right after that, I was diagnosed with something called AVN, which is an arterious malformation. And it's unrelated with cancer. So I mean, I have a bunch of veins and arteries in my head that were not supposed to be there. And I was trying to see different doctors. And then one doctor said, you know what, you have like 5 years to live, 5 to 8.
What year is this?
2011, that was before the cancer.
Wow.
But then I got cancer, I kind of put it on hold. And then in 2014, I have so much headaches, I have palpitation here. It was hard to, when I was in the radio station, to listen to the sound through the headphones. So I was looking for a doctor, and one doctor did like an MRI and different stuff, and he told me like, whatever you have so big, so hard to treat, you're better off just enjoy your life. My daughters at that point were like 8 and 4 years old. I was little. So I was like, I didn't want that to be the end of my story. So I started looking for a second opinion. And then my wife, which is the biggest blessing of my life, found a doctor in New York City who took me as a patient, although the guy was so busy. And then I ended up going under like 12 brain surgeries from 2015 to 2018. And the average surgery was like 10 hours, an hour's time. So it was really spectacular process. And that gave me so much faith, and to God be the glory. He wanted me to be here, and that's when I changed my life. I decided to leave my W-2 job, I invest in real estate, and just impact my community and do what I'm doing now.
What year did you leave your job?
2019. It's 3 years.
Okay. Wow. Okay. A lot to unpack. Let me go back a little bit here.
Sure.
And of course, we're going to dive into where you are today. Well, I guess I want to ask this. Today, do you have pain?
No
pain.
Nothing. I lived with pain so many years. That was so weird when the pain left. So yes.
All right. So you're in LA. You get married to your wife, who you moved with from Colombia, essentially, right? When did New York happen?
A year later, my father-in-law moved back to Colombia.
Yeah.
He was based in LA. He went back to Colombia, and then at that time we didn't know nobody there. And some of my family live in New York, Westchester County, and they told me, "You want to come here? We help you." And then we decided to move, and then we moved to New York right like 9-10 months after we were in LA.
So this is like 2000-ish, 2001-ish.
Yes, before 1999 we moved moved to New York.
To New York. Okay, gotcha. So right around the turn of the century.
Yeah, that was right. When the war was supposed to be ending.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. What was a Y2K and all that. So '04, you get into real estate. What does that mean? Were you selling it? Were you investing in it? What was?
Okay, so my wife is a visionary. So I started working in the restaurant industry. So I was working in Greenwich, Connecticut, which is a really wealthy area.
Very.
So I was so comfortable. I was making good money. I wasn't really happy doing that job.
What were you doing?
I was a waiter.
Okay.
Even though I have no idea how to be a waiter, but I said, like Ryan said yesterday when they asked me, "Do you know you have experience?" I said, "Yes."
Yeah, right.
Are you good? Yes. Do you know about Italian food? Yes. So can you start tomorrow? Yes. So I said yes.
Yeah.
And then I became really good at it. And then I was in my comfort zone. And then my wife, because we have a friend that wanted to get into real estate, she got the Rich Dad Poor Dad book. She read it and she said, "This is it. Let's do it." And I refused. She forced me. She signed and which is a community college to get the license. She paid for it, and she said, "Okay, we start next Wednesday." I said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "I pay already, and I don't like to lose money." And I was like, "Okay, that's it." We were the only Spanish speaking students there. Only the two of us. We're like 30, and then to a point. The trainer, the teacher, he was like kind of doubting we're gonna be able to do it because we were like still learning the language. I'm still are, and then we just studied like crazy, and then we passed the school exam, we passed the stakes exam, and then we got licensed in 2004. So I was doing part-time real estate, a full-time restaurant, and then little by little I just did the vice versa, and then I left the restaurant business.
Wow. And kids came when?
My daughter came 2004, my first daughter. So
Wow.
so
you
I
have a
get
new
so
kid in
right there. Yes, we went from two incomes to one income, and then just trying to do real estate. And then our second daughter came 2008 when the market crashed. So that was perfect time.
Perfect. That's awesome. Look, we talked yesterday. We had Ryan Serhant on, and we were talking about balance and everything. And what I love about that, I wanted to ask that because, like, I think a lot of people get in their mind. I just did a post on this morning about, I have to have 1/3 of my life kids, 1/3 of my life is my job. Like, I don't have room for building the life I want or whatever. I got all these other things, and I can't get out of balance. But in that time, you're building, right? You're growing. You've got a kid. You've got this real estate career and everything. And I'm sure there was not balance in terms of, okay, I spent all the time I wanted with my new baby, and I spent all the time I wanted with my wife. I mean, you were doing a lot of different things at that point.
I think when you try to do that, the planning, the balance, and like unpack yourself from like the professional guy to the personal guy, you get so exhausted, and then you ended up doing neither one of them.
Yeah.
So yes, so into the day, that life is not really balanced, and then you have to be the same person with outside of like working, business, and home. You're the same guy.
Yeah, 100%.
You can have like multiple personalities.
Yeah. So all right. So you get your license in '04. What do you do next?
Okay. So we didn't know anything about it. Yeah. So they told, okay, you have license now. You have to find a sponsor. I said, okay, fine. So how can we find a sponsor? You find an office. They're looking for a client for agents. So
a sponsor for those like an EXP, Keller Williams. That's what you mean by a sponsor.
Yes, sponsor. Yeah. Usually, when you have a license, you have to like bring your license to a real estate office so they can just hold it there, and you can start selling real estate or do whatever you want. And then at that time, I was doing online search, and then I found one really close to us. It was a small boutique office, and then we just applied. And then we went there. We went to see the guy, and he said, "Lovely, just come here." And his niche of the market was nothing in Spanish. All like people from Europe, Africa, and different places of the world. So we start our first couple of years in real estate. We didn't serve our community, and I was trying to like serve other community. It was really hard at the beginning. I didn't make that much money, like Ryan said yesterday. But the first 2 years, I learned so much that helped me as a foundation moving forward. But then I realized I have to. I mean, my niche was my community, but in the beginning, I didn't know any better. So I kind of missed the good old days before the subprime market, which was great because none of my clients lost any property because they didn't use any subprime loans.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But yes, so that's what we did.
Now, so where does did you have English skills coming into the country? Or
no, as a matter of fact, I always hate the language. I was really good in the sports, and so I just tried to coordinate my training for different sports. And when I was in high school and in college, not to go to the English class, and because I was getting all the trophies, so they give me all the A+. So yes, no, we still learn. I think we learned watching Friends and Everybody Loves Raymond and all those things. Yeah.
My wife says the same thing. They learned from watching when they were 12. She and her sister, 12 and 11, and moved here. They really learned from watching TV.
Especially Everybody Loves Raymond. His mom is like my mom. I was telling my mom, you like her, and she thought that was a compliment.
No, not for that. That's a great show, though. All right, so when you're in this boutique agency, so just so I'm clear, so you're serving a clientele, a level of clientele that you're saying, man, I'm not serving the Spanish-speaking community. Is that where you wanted to be?
Well, we didn't know at that time. I thought for some reason that we wanted to serve the American clientele because there were a lot more of them. And then because that was an office that we were placed at. And I think God make everything for a reason. And then we got so much knowledge and experience. And the guy wasn't the main broker really that organized. So I had to do a lot of things that I wasn't supposed to be doing. But then after that, then we make the switch and we went to Century 21, and then we start getting the momentum. And then we realized that we needed someone that speaks Spanish to do mortgages because I was doing the translation all the time with the loan officer.
Sure.
So I went to the mortgages at that time. My wife was doing the real estate. So we make a team. And then we were like having a great momentum. And then the market crashed in 2008.
Right. Well,
2008.
Prior to 08, what was volume like for you? Like, how many homes did you sell? What was your total sales? Not commission, but I'm not an agent, so I don't know the terms. How much in volume did you do? What was the peak of this for you before?
Okay, I think our peak was right before the crash, before like 2004, 2006. We were like a learning curve. We make like the first couple of years like $10,000 a year.
We
make ourselves, but we were I was still at the restaurant, so I was like extra money. But I knew I wasn't able to leave my job at the restaurant on the $10,000, especially with a newborn. 2006 to 2008, we increased the number. I think we were making around like $100,000 in commission. So that's the time we dropped the restaurant, and then we decided to do full-time real estate, and then the market crashed.
You say what was your wife doing when you moved to New York, and then did you both go into real estate together?
That's super fun because so I started working in an Italian restaurant, and I was like, it wasn't easy, but it wasn't as hard as her because then she in the Greenwich Avenue, I don't know if you've ever been there, it's a bunch of different restaurants, and then she decided to apply to a Japanese restaurant, and then everybody was telling like Japanese restaurant, and they wear kimono and everything, and she was the only person for that area of the world.
Sure.
And then she became a waitress in a Japanese restaurant with a kimono for like so many years, and she became the best waitress there, and she was making all the great tips because of the service and everything else. So we had our daughter Victoria, and then she decided to just stay with her for a year. And then when she was a little bit older, we got a babysitter, and then she came back, started doing real estate with me. So we started doing the sales. That's when I realized, listen, it makes no sense for both of us doing the same thing, especially if I'm doing all the translation for the loan process and all of the mortgage. So let me just do that, and then we did like a team. We're still working as a team right now, so in different capacity, but yeah. So she was doing the sales, and I was doing the mortgages.
Got it. Okay, very interesting. All right, so we go through 08. We get to, actually, I'm sorry. One thing I wanted to ask about the radio show. How did that come to be? How did radio come into your life? As you do the podcast now, I mean, this is sort of a part of you.
That was an amazing. So everything, again, God be the glory. So the market crashed. I was working in a mortgage. I was in Deutsche Bank, and then every single day, all those banks were closing. I have a lot of loans pending. We weren't able to close. So at that time, I was part of an organization called NAREP, the National Association of Real Estate Professionals. So I've been in different conferences, and then I was trying to get a chapter in New York. And then at that time, I met an attorney who was coming from LA. He was born here, but his family is from Peru and Colombia, and he started a small law firm. And he said, you know what, why don't you come with me? I want to start doing like a foreclosure defense. We try to defend people not to lose the property. And then maybe you can just be like a consultant and just help me just get this thing going. And I started working as a consultant at the beginning, then I became an employee. And then he was doing a radio show in Spanish, although Spanish is not his primary language. And then he asked me one day to go with him just because we wanted to promote something. And I went there. I did a horrible when they gave me the first like get in, and it was was in Spanish, and I did so bad. Then we got a break, and the guy like, calm down, relax, breathe. Let's try it again.
Right.
And I did the second segment was a lot better. And when we finished, I thought he was gonna say, I don't want to see you again. And he said, "Do you want to come tomorrow?" I said, "Tomorrow." And then we started doing it, the both of us. And at one point, he just dropped me. I said, "You know what? He likes to party in New York. So you know what? And the shows were like 7 a.m. Saturday, and like 7:30 a.m. on Sunday. So it was really early.
Yeah.
So sometimes I have to go pick him up. And then he said, "You know what? This is crazy. So you do it yourself." So I did it for like 10 years. So I went down, and it's like 3 or 4 big radio stations in New York for the Hispanic community. I was in all of them. So it was pretty. And so when I decided to leave, that was one of the hardest part for me to leave my job, was not to be in the radio anymore. So that's what I said, you know what, I have to do something. And I did a podcast.
Wow.
So I created my own studios.
Yeah. So all right, on the radio show, so you did that 2 days on Saturdays and Sundays. It sounds
Yes,
like
was live shows. So we have live calls. So I was promoting the law firm, and then I was talking about like pretty much what I'm doing right now, like current events and asking questions. We have attorneys with me in the studio, and then we would like to promote it and just to offer free consultation and talk about like current events and things like basic knowledge in terms of the foreclosure process, bankruptcy. So I just became really good at it, and I love it so much. And that was the easiest thing for me to do. At one point, I was doing a radio show Sunday at 6 a.m. in the morning,
Wow.
and I used to go like wear like a suit and tie every single month.
I've seen the pictures. Yeah,
I think that's here because this is Miami. But
Sure.
yeah, but this is I think that's my brand. Like when Ryan was saying yesterday. So like and I still to the day my podcast I do it like professional. I think that's the way it's supposed to be done.
Makes sense. Was this were you getting paid for the radio show?
Yes.
Was that the W-2 you left 10 years later?
No, I was so I was working. So I started working as a consultant for the law firm. Then I became an employee. So I was running an office. So we have like a loss mitigation department. So I went to have so he went from like one office to like 10 offices when I left.
Wow.
And I was a big part of the whole process. And then I was running one of the office in New Jersey. So I was doing the whole operation. So from Monday to Friday, I was doing that, and it was really intensive. Like was like from like 9 a.m. to like really late at night. And have like a networking events and a lot of stuff. And then weekends, I would do Saturday and Sunday radio shows. So I was doing Saturday from like 8 a.m. to like 10, and sometimes Sunday from like 6 to 9, like live shows on different radio stations. And that was the best days for me. I love it.
All right. So we hit 08. I'm assuming your volume goes to zero. How are you making money through this? Is it just a radio show?
Well, no. So I joined this law firm. So I started working as a consultant. I was getting paid as a consultant, and then I became an employee, and I was working with him for like 10 years. So I decided to, and then my wife came with me until 2015, and then she decided to left just to start like just going back to real estate. She got licensed in New Jersey. We started buying small multifamilies because all my health issues, and then we knew that I wasn't able to get a life insurance, so we needed to leave something for the family if something happened to me. So we started buying multifamilies, a small multifamily just to cover to replace my income if something happened to me.
Yeah, that makes sense. What was the indication to you in, I think it was 2012, that made you go get checked and you learned about cancer? What were you feeling? I mean, you had the headaches, but that was prior.
Well, yeah, and that was a great question because as a real estate agent, so you're an independent contractor and you are now, so getting insurance was a lot expensive, and a lot of real estate professionals, they don't have insurance, and I was still young at that time, and I was like, I just don't need it. So I started having those headaches, and then I got those MRIs, and they told me about the malformation. So, but I didn't have insurance, have to pay out of pocket. So at that point, I said, you know what, I need to get an insurance. So I got the insurance, and then I was in 2012 because of the headaches, and then after that, just a few months later, like 6 months later, then I was diagnosed with cancer. So thank God I had the insurance. I got it.
How was it found though? How did they find what was the indicator?
Well, I was having like a lot of like flu symptoms, like I had like cold and a lot of like pain over here in my neck. So and the doctor told it was give me like antibiotics before like an infection or something. So after like few months, I didn't get any any better, and you get it, just antibiotics. So they said, you know what, let's do a biopsy just to discover. I think he was 100% sure there was not cancer. I said, you know what? So I did it, and then I do remember the November 9, 2012, 8 p.m. The doctor called me, and when I saw his number, he called. I knew something was wrong. I know he won't call me just to tell me, listen, everything is fine. So he called me, the surgeon, and said, you know what? It is cancer. He said it's not a worse cancer. I don't know if it's a good cancer, but he said it's not the worst, but we need to get on it right away. So that was Friday night. We cried with my wife. We're like, oh my God, that our daughters were so little, and then we just wipe our tears, and I said, you know, let's get moving. And then from that Saturday to Monday, we schedule all the different tests and everything, and I get a device over here, the catheter, and so I got the surgery for that, and then I started. That was November 9, and my first chemotherapy was at the beginning of December. So that was like just a few weeks just to get everything ready. You start with the process.
Wow. Okay, so I have two questions in my head. I'll ask this. What is that? Well, let me ask this question first, so we keep on the timeline. When you have that diagnosis and you're going through this, what was like you said, it's not the worst cancer. How did they quantify? Like, is it stage 1, stage 2? I don't know enough about this, but
yes.
how do you, yeah.
So I got Hodgkin's lymphoma. Hodgkin's by itself is the one that's, I mean, they're both bad, you know? And then I have stage 3, which means it's a different parts of my body. So they divide your body like up to the waist, I think it is. And I have it in like here, like in my chest, under my arm, and under my top of my leg. So it was a stage 3. So it goes up to stage 4. So that's why he was calling me like, listen, it's not, I think you can make it, but you have to get moving really fast. So I started that. I started doing that. So I was like, just praying to God, and I was like, okay, we're gonna get this done. Everybody was like, you have to slow down. You just take time off from work, and I didn't do that. I was like having Monday was treatment, Tuesday was recovery, and Wednesday was back at seeing clients with my. I was wearing masks like right now we're doing it, and then I started doing it, but. In Christmas, December 24, I have one treatment, and everything went okay. And we Colombians and Hispanic, we celebrate La Noche Buena. Christmas Eve is the 24th, no, it's the 20th, it's not the 25th. So we stayed there. Some family came over, and then we stayed early, and then I went to sleep. And then when I wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning, I just saw the paramedics in my bedroom, and I was like, "What's going on?" So my wife, you had a seizure. So I had a seizure when I was little, until 11 years old. So I had a seizure, and I know that I knew then that was going to complicate everything. So I was from the 24th to like almost New Year's of that year, and the hospitals, they do like all those the exams and everything else, and from your back, they hurt a lot. And then after that, everything went well. But it was a really traumatic time that December because of the beginning of the treatments, and then I had the seizure, and then. But
the other question, and I guess it's morphed into two more for me, but do you feel, or did you feel, or is there a point at which you felt after all of this that you're in the clear? Like even to this day, do you ever feel like you're in the clear on this?
Yes. Yeah, and both from the cancer and from the brain surgery. I think that give you the knowing that everything's gonna be fine. And yes, so I have so much anxiety. I was so worried. I was so nervous. I used to commute for an hour, and I do remember just getting out of the office and just cry for like half an hour until like the George Washington Bridge, the big the 2-floor bridge in New York that connects New Jersey, New York. Yeah. And then when I got to the bridge, I was just cleaning my eyes, and when I got home, like nothing happened. The girls never saw me like crying and everything, but I was really concerned, and because I wanted to raise them, like I want to stay with them. So when that happened, then I did the brain surgeries, and then yes, I think I felt like clear.
How does it inform you today? In how you operate, like, so you go through something like that, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I mean, listening to your story, it's crazy to me. But how does it inform you today, like the guy you were before versus the guy you are now, having recovered from two major incidents? Does it change how you operate? Does it change how you see things? Does it change anxiety levels? What you get worried about, or no? I'm just kind of curious. Like, is where you are today at all attributable to what you went through? Does it unlock sort of like, hey, anything's possible? I'm curious on that.
It's a great question, and it's different way to answer that question. Yeah, yes, it affects my life completely. I left, like, I always wanted to have like a certainly that have like a straight income, a steady income, and everything. So I think I wouldn't never left a W-2 because I think I'm still an employee in my mind, you know. So but because of that, I knew was gonna be a better way to do things. That I can't just work like 7 days a week and be so stressful, and then just have so much focus in my work and just my responsibilities. But at the same time, that time gave me so much faith and strength that even now sometimes I think I lack. And I was talking with my coach the other day. I'm not saying that I missed all those surgeries, but I kind of missed how I felt. I felt like, listen, it was up to me that I have to be strong enough to move forward. So I wish sometimes that I have that today. Although I'm doing great, and then I have my wife next to me, but it help you give you perspective on life, like. Just to value your family, value your time. Of course, you want to make great things, and I think it's more like now I want to impact my community. And I think God gave me a second and third and fourth chance to be here, and it's for a reason. So He wants me to develop or just fulfill His plan. So I think that the connection with Him and just knowing like, okay, so it's more than me. It's if I'm here because He gave me all the chance, so I have to make sure that I follow His path.
Enhancing your faith, man, no doubt about it. I can't imagine all that you went through.
There's no way. I mean, you can explain that. I mean, all the treatment, the doctors are beautiful, and I have a great relationship with them, all the professionals. And every single surgery and for the brains, I have to like sign a disclosure, a waiver and everything. And the doctors, I mean, becomes friends with everybody, friends as 12 times. And then they were like, we can't believe it. I mean, 6 are like so risky. You did 12, and they even run an ad for Mount Sinai and the radio station with my story, like, without mentioning my name. Say like, a 42 years old male came with this condition, blah blah blah, and that was me.
Holy cow, man. Like I said, I can't imagine what you went through. Leaving the job has to feel like nothing compared to all that you went through. And you do this in 2018, you mentioned.
2018, I left.
Okay. So in 2018, you leave the job. Give me some perspective on that. Like, what was the final straw for you, the final decision to do that, and how did you support yourself? I mean, you're building a real estate portfolio, so kind of morph that into what you had built at that point.
Yeah, so when I went to all those surgeries, I have to recover. I have to stay overnight at the hospital. So I started having this conversation with me. Okay, so what I'm planning to do. So I'm like, having another chance. What should I do? So I said, you know what? The best thing for me to do is just leave my job because I don't want to. I want to have a better quality of life. It reached to a point that I didn't feel aligned with the value of the company. And I said, you know what? I'm really. I think I don't feel like an ethical of me staying here promoting a company that I'm not saying that they do anything wrong, but it's not aligned with my values. So I said, listen, we need to leave my job. So I said to my wife, listen, if we find this many properties, I think I'm going to be able to replace my income and just do whatever I want, which is really hard because leaving a job's hard, but what comes next is harder. So at that point, and I was praying a lot, and I was going to church, and I was telling God, listen, just give me signs. And if this happened, and I was like just giving a list because I was trying to find an excuse, and everything I asked, everything was happening. Like one of the last drop, I was like, listen, I really love this radio show. I don't want to leave it. And I was like, you know, like when you have your possession and you're jealous, I didn't want to have another host doing my show because I did it for 10 years. I built that show. And I was like, so I was telling my wife, you know what? I might want to just stay here for doing a show, or even just come up with an agreement. So I do it for free, but I just continue doing a show, even if I'm not an employee of the firm anymore. And then out of nowhere, the guy that I used to work for, he just canceled the whole show. He moved it to another radio station, and he told me, Carlos, we are not be doing that radio station anymore. We're gonna do another one. I think it was a horrible mistake, but so can you come? Do you want to come to the other station? The same city. I'm in New York, and I was like, this is it. I mean, nothing against the other guy. I know the other host, but this is it. I mean, guy was telling me, listen, now move.
Yeah, no, that's fair. You mentioned something about being aligned with your values, and you know we share that W-2 thing. I talk about it a lot on this show and on my brand and everything else like that. And that's a really good way of putting it. And it's not like you said. I didn't. There was nothing unethical about what my company did, but for me, I think I'm actually just having this revelation now. I think I really value creativity or like the ability to think through problems in a different way. And I know that probably frustrated some of my bosses because the company, as it got bigger and bigger, you talk about values, valued process. And I value process, don't get me wrong, but they valued process down to almost like you just follow this. And for me, I felt more and more constricted by following something, a script or how do we do something? Well, it's written down right here, so just do it. It's like, yeah, but what if there's a better way? You just follow that, right? So to your point, it's a strange thing to take a career, my case, your case, and sort of say, I'm done with this because it just doesn't resonate with me, and not go get another job. Instead, you went out on your own. I went out on my own, right? It's an interesting. That's funny. Is there something like that for you? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I was going to say that. So in my case, when we start there, we used to serve our community, people that were losing properties, and we have those crazy stories. I remember I was on the radio show once, like 7 a.m. Sunday, and I got a phone call for the guy, and I was asking him, how's everything? How can we help you? I said, you know what? I'm here with the machete, which is the big.
Yep.
I'm waiting for the guy in the bank. If he comes here, I gotta give him the machete. I said, no. And then he said, because he felt betrayed by the bank. He said, you know what? They explain all the documents. I'm not supposed to be losing this property because their fault. They didn't want to help me, and I'm gonna burn the house. And I said, don't do that. I said, and I wasn't there for and I have the segment for like 10 minutes, and I was like, and then you know how much expensive it is the radio station airtime. So I was like, don't do that, please come here. Come to the office. Anyway, he ended up coming to the different location, so I never knew they were coming. And then we ended up helping him through the farm, and he saved the property, and he lost like 40 pounds. And then he was like, you guys changed my life.
Yeah.
So when you start growing, and then you get different players in the organization, the culture changed a little bit. So it wasn't more like helping people; it just meant like growing, which is fine. But so that's what I wasn't in line with my values.
That's amazing. So yeah, that's great. So your value is around community, around helping, and yeah, that's a great. Same thing. Like that creativity for me in the beginning, it was like I could figure out ways to resolve like a claim because I was in the claim side of insurance. I could figure out different ways to do it that made sense. Took care of the business, took care of the person, whatever. And then as we got more and more process oriented, it's just there was a line that I think it crossed for me. Not saying they're wrong or bad or whatever. Just for me, that was my tripwire to say, you know what, I'm feeling constricted. I don't have an outlet for my creativity here. And this is the decision I made. And for you, it was community, and that actually parlays into now. So we'll talk about the podcast in a second. I was going to go there first, but let's talk about your mastermind. So you have a community.
Yes.
What does the community do? What do you serve? How does that work? Give me some.
Okay, so our goal. So my podcast is called Hablemos de Real Estate. It's real estate, family, and finances. So our goal is like family, the base of society. So we want to family that financially free through investing in real estate. It's a lot of kids that are being raised by themselves because mom and pop are working like 3 jobs, and they have part-time, full-time, and they work all the time. So we want to make sure that our community has access to different mentality to be able to invest in real estate. So that's what we do. And so we try to do different impact our community, different avenues. And we realize it's a beautiful mastermind, one of the best ones, if not the best. They said, you know what, I want something like this for my community. So we start something like, it's real estate related, but at the end of the day, and this, Jamie, it's not about the money. It's about the family, about the legacy, about the health, the connection with God. So that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that the tools are through investing in real estate, but at the end of the day, we want to impact the whole family in the next generations.
And that this means a lot. Like I'm really I'm processing this right now. Your need for community, and now you've created that. You've leaned into that value. I don't know if you knew at that time, like as you're going through this job, and as the company's evolving, and you're feeling a bit disconnected, that you were so sure, like it's community, and I'm not getting that piece of me fulfilled here, so I'm gonna have to build that. But you learn that about yourself, and for me, the same thing, like creativity. So here I get to do things like this, and my personal brand, and I have a community with Emerge and Ascend and all that stuff. It's an interesting thing. I guess I never thought of it quite that way for folks that are thinking about, like, I want to leave my job. I don't know why. Something's unfulfilling. I should be happy. It might be that, right? Like, what is the value that you have, the true value that you have, whatever that is, and is where you are right now. It's not serving that. And it doesn't even mean like the company you're working for changed, right? Could be that you've changed.
Yeah.
You've morphed and become a different person, and what you value now, have kids, got married, whatever it might be, is misaligned with who you were and what you were doing.
Yeah,
Fair?
it's fair. So Colombians, and here you have a lot of like soap operas.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
Telenovela.
telenovela. So I learned that there are few characters, even in a movie, they're supposed to be just at the beginning of the movie, on the beginning, and in the middle of the movie, or the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to hold the character that's in the beginning of the movie, or profession, and you're supposed to just drop it. So there's nothing wrong with the company.
That's a great
And they're
point.
great. And I still have a great connection with them. I respect them, and I value all the team, because they came at the right time when the market was crashing, and I think I provide great service for them as well. So yes, I think that was the time. Nothing wrong with them. Just you outgrew the position, and you want to do different things.
I love it, man. The podcast. Tell me a little bit about the podcast. When is it? How often do you post? Well, give me an idea of what you're doing. With the
So
podcast.
right now we're doing 2 shows a week.
Okay.
We have one show that we're doing with my wife. So when Ryan was saying things last night, I was check. Bring your wife, check. And that happens all the time, because when I'm talking, sometimes people that resonate with me, with my way they connecting, because I'm trying to be so really direct. And then my wife is sugarcoating, and she's so soft and beautiful. And then so I do that a show with her, and that's Tuesday and 10 a.m. And then I have my guests Thursday night 8 p.m. So I got different professionals from all over the world, mostly from the States. They speak Spanish. They're in real estate mostly, and they wanted to share their career and their testimony, and the good, the bad, and the ugly. Not everything is beautiful. What are the struggles? So
Yeah, no, I love it, man. I love it. Tell me about this conference. Well, tell me about your time in GoBundance. Let's start there, because you're about 4 months, 5 months in at this point. When did you join? December, was it?
I joined December. I tried to join for a long time, and then it didn't happen. But I joined December, and it's been happening so much. Like before I joined, I started merch, and thank you, because it was a game changer, and I did BPCon. I met a lot of the GoPros. I joined, and then after that, I went from being like a lone wolf by myself, getting my wife crazy and getting myself crazy. That's true. That's what it is.
I know.
And then now it hasn't been easy, but I have my horizon open, and I have a mastermind, and I'm investing in multifamily and raising capital, and all of those connections and motivation has been happening through this beautiful organization. That's what I'm saying in the beginning. It's an honor to be here, because I admire all of you guys.
Oh, that quick. So you're already making connections here that are leading to other business ideas or business
Definitely,
ventures for you.
yes.
That's incredible. I talked to a guy the other day who was asking me about GoBundance, and he's like, look, my wife is sick of me. It was almost like she wants you to buy new friends. He goes, yeah, essentially, yeah. she wants you to go buy some
My
friends.
wife told just go do something. Just do something nice. Don't get bad friends. But
Yeah, it's a great place to be. How about the conference? You went to Park City. You're here. What do you get from being at these conferences?
I mean, the power of connection, the power of the proximity, the power of learn from other people, and regardless of the network, how much money you have, we go to different struggles, and you always have something to give and something to receive. So it's a win-win scenario if you play full out.
Great. Where can people learn more? Follow you? Podcast we know the name of, but
it's called Hablemos de Real Estate on all the platforms. Or if you just search my name, Carlos Amaya, you'll find me, and I'll be more than happy to.
With the suit. The whole
With the
nine.
suit,
always
the time.
dapper.
My wife is trying to get me out, and I'm getting out of my comfort zone to make a couple of videos like you. But yes, we're still the suit.
I like the suit, man. I need to go up in my attire, so you stay there. You're inspiring me. So, Carlos, man, amazing. I'm so appreciative of you.
It's a pleasure. It's a dream come true, and thank you, Jamie. I really enjoyed this time, and it's a pleasure. And hopefully, it happens again.
Appreciate you.